Welcome to the Project MSG Podcast. I am Christian Monsoon of Japan Life Live. And joining me is Smoke, with his channel, Smoke. Today, I want to talk to Smoke here about why we came to Japan. I think, honestly, most people come here for one of two reasons. It's either they're a huge anime fan and their whole life has been based on how cool Japan is and how much they want to be here. And then two is if they're kind of into something cultural. They are really into samurai, or I want to wear a kimono, I want to go and see, Kyoto, that kind of stuff. And then there's subgroups underneath that, like I have met a disturbing amount of people coming here to look for wives. That's a thing. But I'll say, let's just go over it. So first off, I started finding anime when it was early 90s or mid 90s, and there was no anime in my country at all. So I was lucky enough to have a neighbor that had VHS tapes from his grandmother, and that had variety shows, dramas, music programs, and a ton of anime, because he was like 11 years old, so we were around the same age.
Is he Japanese?
Yeah, he's a Japanese kid.
Oh, that's why. That's why.
And and so he decided that, he didn't speak any English. He just moved to America, and I felt so bad for the kid. And we ended up being like quick friends. And he goes, "Oh, hey, he asked me, he's like, game?" I'm like, "Yes, game." Because we both played Nintendo. But he had games that weren't out in the West yet. And he had a Super Famicom. So I'm like, "What is that?" He's like, "That's Super Famicom. Don't you have Super Famicom?" I'm like, "I have Super Nintendo. It looks the same, kinda." And we, there's no internet yet, so we don't know that there's a different kind of thing. And he pulls out like these 5 games that ended up being big. Secret of Mana was one, so it was an RPG where 3 people could play, or 2 people could play at the same time. Yeah. And the other one was Dragon Ball, the Super Butoden. And it was the freaking greatest game ever. So we had played Street Fighter, and we, everyone went to the arcade and played Street Fighter. But the cool thing about Dragon Ball was there was the giant attack, so the Kamehameha and all that kind of stuff. So we played that game freaking endlessly. It was a daily thing that we did. And finally we got obsessed with it. And then all the group of kids that were all kind of hanging out with him, they would go home, and then he kind of sheepishly was like, "There's a TV show, right?" And I'm like, "What?" Yeah. Because we didn't have TV shows for stuff like that. There was no anime in America. The closest thing we had to anime was a Super Mario Brothers Super Show. Google it. It's awful, and I love it.
Wait, that doesn't count as a anime.
No, it's not. It's like made by the Deke Corporation, and it was, like it was cheap cartoon that was based on a video game, and everybody loved it at the time because it was like, "Oh my God, it's Mario, but he's a cartoon now." But we started watching Dragon Ball, and he showed it to me from like around the mid-Frieza fight, and I'm in. I'm thinking this is the coolest thing in the world. So from 4 years old on, I had been into karate, so I was all about super fighting and all this kind of stuff. And American superheroes always have these like specific superpowers. I can shoot light from my eyes, or I have metal claws, all that kind of stuff.
So you mean like Superman and just being rich?
Yeah, exactly. That kind of stuff. And granted, Dragon Ball is very superhero, but at least they work for it. So that got me, and in my kid brain, I'm like, I am going to achieve this. Like, I'm going to get to this level. So it made me get stronger in karate. Then I switched over to Taekwondo for a while. It was fun, so I got into it. From that, I started watching other anime, and then because we were neighbors for a really long time, and I started getting interested in his variety shows. His mom would watch these variety shows, and as family friends, basically, I would hung out at his house all the time. He was either at my house or I was at his, so that was just kind of the way it was.
Oh, neighbors.
Yeah, exactly. And he was watching this variety show with his mom, and he's like, "You'd probably like this." And it was this big fat dude, and the whole thing was he had to eat everything on a menu in every size, including the beer. So he gets just tanked, and they're making him eat all this stuff. And then it was the grossest stuff, because they're like, here's a cup of wine, here's 2 cups of wine, here's a bottle of wine. And he's like, "Oh, God." And then they're like, "Here's an ice cream sundae." And I'm like, "Oh." So it was funny. It was awesome. And the show's name, now I know, was Ikinari Ogon Densetsu, which is now canceled, but of course, because that's forever ago. But it was freaking funny at the time. And then I got into the music stuff because they had the music station and all the hey, 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 all this, music TV. And I started going, oh, I actually like music. Because I was never interested in American music at all. 0%.
Wait, how?
I didn't like anything. I don't know. Nothing grabbed me. I didn't like the tune. I didn't like the thought process behind it. I didn't like pretty much anything. Now, not to say I didn't like certain songs, but there wasn't a band that I was like, oh, dude, I have to see this. This band's awesome. No, I was not into it. So I ended up getting really into Japanese pop and stuff, and then that led me down the road of pretty much just liking anything Japanese, which led me to coming here on vacations any chance I got. The first one was in around 2006. And then in 2009, I got a chance to move here, and shabam. So the otaku had landed in Japan. But at this point, it's weird because I still love anime, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely not the biggest part of my life anymore. That was such a huge thing for me when I was younger. But now I'm like, I still like anime, but I'm not like, oh my God, anime! That I'm not that guy.
Yeah, I kind of the same, to be honest.
Yeah. So what the heck brought you here?
For me, it's so when I was in high school, from my hometown, we don't have a car culture, But in Japan, they have like a massive car culture, like JDM and stuff. And back then, I always go on YouTube and look at JDM's car. And then there was a guy, I think he's Aussie, yeah. There was an Aussie guy. YouTube channel named Samet, always vlog about his daily life of owning a drift car and daily driving a drift car. And at that point I was like, one of my family is already in Japan. I was like, I really want to move to Japan to start doing my car stuff. And then bada bing bada boom, it's been I think I was in my third year in high school. So back then it's still just a dream, I never thought it actually happened. But in my final year of high school, I got into a uni and I somehow passed the test and stuff, and I'm in Japan now. So right now I'm just waiting for my license to be exchanged to Japanese driver license. Then I'm buying a drift car.
Was there any entertainment that got you into the drifting kind of stuff, like Initial D or Tokyo Drift, the Fast and Furious or anything like that?
I think my first ever car movie, I shall say, it's Fast and Furious, but it never hit me back then.
Really?
Now it does for some reason. Fast and Furious 7, it actually hit me hard. Yeah. And then let me see. Yeah, I think initially I watched the whole, every single stage of Initial D from the oldest one, not even the not even the reanimated one, the older one.
The good one.
I watched that. Yeah, the good one. I watched every single one of them when I was in high school. So that kind of spikes me to getting into cars even more. So right now, I'm trying to save up to buy a drift car. You know what I'm saying.
You know what though? That's kind of the same. I when you're overseas, you can get your license way earlier than Japan. Japan, you got to be 20. But I got my license only because I was watching Initial D and I wanted a car and I thought it was cool.
Really?
Yeah. And I finally got my license around 18, which was good for insurance too. But I tried to save. I did get a pretty cool car, but I was way too careful with it, so I never drifted or anything like that. I was always like, oh God, I gotta drive so careful. I love my car.
Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm just gonna drift.
You're gonna drift her. They do have the drift championships and stuff in Japan. We should totally do that.
Yeah, if I got a chance, I'm sticking our podcast name on my car, and this is our team name.
Yeah.
I really want to go into I really want to go in to the race scene in Japan. Check out my channel. I'm getting there. I'm in the stage of karting right now. So maybe we're gonna get to become a racer. Who knows?
Yeah. So I went from international license to Japanese license, and that was a chore. I don't know though. I think it's easier from where you're from. Is easier than where I'm from.
Same process.
That sucks.
I think. I think. I, I think. I, I think. 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 I guess for me, it's I need first of all I need to grab all the documents. So I need to print every single page of my passport to a piece of A4 paper. After that, I need to bring my license and my license. When did my license been granted, and my entry and exit passport certificate, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
After that, I need to give them a call. Like I want to book. When do I want to change my license? After that, I bring everything to them and they check it, and I start the whole test procedure. So
Right.
it takes forever.
Yeah, I had to do the exact same thing. The written test was no problem. That was easy, super easy. The driving test was insane. They were so mean about it. And you have to memorize the course. They don't tell you, oh, please take a left here or take a right here. They're just like, you should memorize this course. I am not good at that.
What?
Yeah, you don't. There's nothing you can do about it. They just, memorize the course. And if you take a wrong turn, they're like, oh, you took a wrong turn. That's not the course. You fail. So a lot of people fail right away, and they just have to switch out the drivers. There's usually 4 people in a car, one teacher, 3 students, and or 3 test takers, I should say. And I failed the first time. This is crazy because I got a 99% on my American driver's license. And when I got to Japan, they were, oh no, you failed the test. I did not fail that test. 100% I did not fail that test.
No.
And then the second time I did get it, but it was a pain. It was probably one of the most angry times of my life going, I know I did not fail that freaking test. Yeah.
Oh, then I'm gonna suffer in August. So my exchange date is at August, so I'm gonna suffer a lot.
Yeah, mine was in August. I had to do it in August too, which it's death hot outside. So, and they don't have any air conditioning in the car, so you're just sitting there sweating. Yeah.
For some reason, they don't turn on the AC.
No.
I don't know why.
No. I had that in a job interview once too. I was sitting in the job interview and they were like, I had my coat on and everything because you have to have a full suit. They're really bureaucratic about it. So they want you to look the part. I'm looking great and I'm just sweating like a sauna. It was probably, I would say 35 degrees Celsius in there. It was probably about 90 degrees inside. And everyone's just sitting in there and the guy's drinking a little bit of tea. He's got a full suit on, and I am dying. I'm sweating. And then he looks at me. He's like, "Can you please stop sweating? It's unprofessional." And I looked at him. I was like, "Turn on the air conditioning." I'm sorry.
Tell me how to stop sweating.
Yeah.
Teach me.
I know. He's like, "Well,
How?
he's like, I think you're unhealthy." I'm like, "Which one of us has a 6-pack? It's not you." I'm wildly healthy in comparison to this dude. Come on, But yeah, I can't handle the heat. I hate the heat. But yeah, I've had that problem a lot. But that was the most notable one. Yeah, getting that driver's license is one hell of a task. But once you get it, you're pretty much cool. It's not that bad,
Sure.
And driving in Japan is all right. I'm still a little bit messed up, but it's not that bad.
Oh, I think driving in Japan is actually easier than where I'm from.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, think of, so where I'm from, the whole driving system is same as the UK. So there's gonna be a roundabout and those it's just same as exactly as the UK. But the thing is, where I'm from, like people drive like maniacs.
Yeah.
And then in Japan, even though they're maniacs, at least they're not an a-hole about it.
Correct.
It's just a different kind of maniac. All I can just say.
I would say the one thing about Japanese people that has become very apparent is they do one thing at a time and they focus 100% on it. So it's like being in the car with someone who smoked weed. Like they're driving and they're just, like looking at their speed, and then they look at the front and look at their speed, and you see people slide up to other cars a lot, or blow red lights and all sorts of things because they're not paying attention.
When you talk about that, there's a couple of times I was biking back to school, and there's like a stop sign in Japan is tomare, right? Yeah. And then you're supposed to look left and look right, then turn, then start moving your car, then turn. But if they're going left, they will never look right for some reason, so they'll just move. And then I almost got hit like 3 to 4 times because of that. Look left and right, not just looking at the direction that you're going. Yep. Come on, man.
When I used to drive the Genski, the scooter, I had the exact same one from Uticamp, by the way. It was awesome. But I got hit. One guy turned into me, and it was just a small bump, but still he looked straight at me and hit me. The second time I got hit, I was at a red light, and he just smashed into the back of me. The third time I got hit, he pulled out and took a corner and just smashed into me. And then the last time I got hit was the bad one where he went down a Mack truck went down a one-way street and then full speed reversed into me, and it destroyed the bike and blew out my hand. I broke like 4 bones in my hand. It was a bad time. Yeah. So surgery and screws after that. That's
broke
fun.
Everything.
Yeah. So that was the end of bike life for me, because it's dangerous here though, because like I said, people don't really pay attention. It's not that everybody's bad. Of course, there's exceptions to the rule and all that fun stuff. But I will say, for the most part, yeah, keep your eyes open, because people just get zoned out, or they'll be. It's weird. If you meet Japanese people in Japan, they are very, very focused people, but only on one task at a time. If they're studying or something and you're like, would you like a glass of water? They get really mad at you because they're like, don't make me think about that. I'm trying to focus on this right now. And I'm like, I'm trying to be nice.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just offering you something nice. Come on.
Exactly. Oh, do you need any help? They're like, I'm like, oh, geez, all right. Relax, But it is because they truly do focus in on something. That's why they're so good at memorizing stuff, I think. I don't know. Like, the way their school's set up really burns that into their brain.
Yeah, actually. They're just memorizing stuff. And
it's just constant memorization. But yeah, that's interesting. I didn't know you came here for cars. It's so weird, because everyone that I talked to came here because of pretty much anime. So the conversation.
I think I'm the exception, to be honest.
Well, I mean, the conversation gets boring though after a while, because you're just constantly talking about anime, and it's like, all right, we're good. and
well, yeah, you're not wrong about that.
Well, yeah, I mean, anime is also like video games, where people say like the greatest game of all time is whatever, and I'm like, no, the greatest game of all time is Mega Man 2, and that's because I'm from the 80s and I love Mega Man, but.
Like for me, I like Counter-Strike.
Yeah, exactly.
Because 1.6 is my thing.
Exactly, and see, that's fine. It's like everyone's kind of got a different thing. But with anime, I'll say, oh yeah, I liked Dragon Ball, Ranma, that kind of stuff, and people are like, oh, I watched, whatever, and I'm like, oh, I haven't heard of that. Not that I'm putting it down, or I'm like, what you like sucks. I just don't know it, and then they're like, oh, I'm surprised you like anime, but you don't know about this, and I'm like, yeah, tell me about it. I'll zone out for a while.
It's a bit different in the car scene.
Yeah.
Like the whole car scene is like, oh, you like maybe Mitsubishi stuff, Mitsubishi Evo stuff, and the other guy we're gonna like this Nissan GTR, and they can be friends,
right?
Like the whole car scene. It's more. I don't want to say less toxic, but it's more friendly in Japan. Like, if you don't know about it, people are willing to learn and willing to teach you about it. So that make me like the JDR and car scenes.
Honestly, the Japanese otaku scene is way nice. All of them have jobs. They're all responsible adults for the most part. Even though if they like something really weird, if they're into like kids anime or something, they're usually really nice about it, and they're not weird about it. They're just like, oh yeah, I love Kamen Rider. And you're like, really? I'm like, but you're super cool and you have a hot wife and a good job. And he's like, yeah, and I love Kamen Rider. I'm like, that's crazy.
That's my hobby.
Yeah, exactly. It's cool though. I like that. Whatever you're into is kind of okay, but people also keep it on the down low and do their job, which I think is a nice thing. It's not their entire personality.
They don't force you to like it. That is the main thing, I think, in Japan.
That's actually the best way to say it. Japanese people don't force you to like what they like, and everyone just kind of goes, "Oh, that's cool," Like
if you like it, they don't mind teaching you about it. It's just so relaxing, liking something that you like in Japan. Oh, that is a hard word to say, but yeah,
it's true though, and I'm down for it. I've learned a lot. I've gotten into different stuff I never thought I would, just because people were cool about it and they had a lot of passion for it. So it's kind of fun,
Oh, me too. Yeah.
All right, so this is our episode end. We're gonna come back and we're gonna try to make this weekly. So please subscribe and check out the channels in the descriptions. Bye.